on this lovely day out of time, we get a special IHP, lovely piece of content for my lovely 5D mystics and any of the functional adults. So only those who are pure consciousness, unconditional love with your own flaws and others' flaws and imperfections, and only pure energy. So you're able to stay in the integrated mind and the restorative embodied self. If you want to know more, write me or go tune in on episodes. I explain a lot of the lovely psychoeducational component that the 4D people, they keep talking about energy vampires, dark auras, and some have the ability to say that they actually think that we're born with a spiritual process. These are neuroscience psychoeducators, some of them. And that because we don't have this anymore, that the situation with anxiety, depression, and a lot of mental health situations is because of this. If they had heard of how our brain works and where the self is allocated, and I learned it from Patrick McNamara in one of his videos where he's being interviewed, and I learned something that I actually already knew how to do on my own, which is use my left and right mode together in an integrated mind and be at ease in my body when emotions arise, and not use any emotion towards a person. In fact, not even needing yoga, I learned how to be moderate, equanimity, neutrality. So in my integrated mind and restorative embodied self, in my being a ventral vagal state person, so social engagement, green all the time, even if somebody's insulting me. Usually I need to calm myself a little bit because, obviously they're hyper and they're sympathetic. So we co-regulate as mammals. So learning how to stay at ease is why energy vampires, they don't exist. They can't actually, But again, that's where 4D body types or 3D body types are basically people who stay in their adaptive child and who learn information and then they don't look into it more. So they dehumanize people instead of remembering I'm a human, you're a human. And if we're talking, so anyways, that's for another time. Again, 5D mystics will know that there are no energy vampires because they will feel very insulted when you talk about their loved ones like that, very much. We have what is called a playground when we're with our loved ones and getting to learn to be grown-ups, because we get to become aware of our likes and dislikes emotionally and mentally, since we don't have a shame button, because that's where a defectiveness shame button is what creates heartbreak, gut wrench, and torn apart feelings. So we feel bad for people who live a shame hell in their body. It's actually quite torturous. So we will always be the Zen masters who tell the non-disciples to stop picking on the compulsive person, and that if they really wanted to help, they would stop creating groups and they'd start picking them up and helping them to go to the next best somatic sensory motor trauma expert to begin a personal development journey. Because spirituality process is great and dandy, but if you do yoga all day or meditate and then you're not treating your neighbor as an adult, you're missing out on the spirituality process that, I know Sadhguru and others do their best to say here with yoga, you can align your physical, your energetic, your mind body, your values, you hold on to those, and then your heart body. And by aligning yourself, you're out of Maya land, and I'm out of Maya land. I actually love all people. Put me in a room with them, obviously without weapons, please, because some might get upset at me and I'd rather live. But they'd only get upset because what happens when a person has unresolved trauma? They have addictive/compulsive behaviors that are maladaptive responses because they have a traumatized safety behavior in their reptilian nervous system's response, which people don't equate to people. They equate to the 4D actual reptiles, which don't exist except for in your mind's eye, which I know all about because I got plenty of dreams, not come into contact with the reptilians, but I do know about the dream state that Patrick McNamara, again, studies so well. I can't wait to read his book. So here's where he actually shares empowering information and how important it is to take your nightmares seriously, and how if they are not something that gets stabilized, that your brain actually goes through unfortunate rigidity, which isn't helpful because you're not actually working in a way that you can tolerate. So it's unnecessary to put your body and mind through nightmares. There are people who can support you to work with your energy body and your mental body and your physical body. And 4D thinks of it in the only way of, oh, but that's how you become a shaman or somebody who's anointed. But if you're not able to move into love, actually become what is known as a person who's in Maya, in love with their own light, or hone in like a sharp tool, which actually creates not a lot of love because they're not actually healed from their unresolved trauma. They didn't actually move into having not nightmares, perhaps, for example. I mean, this is just a little bit of this and that, but I'm just saying again, people don't really acknowledge the human component of them once they think I'm a spiritual and spirituality process in a human body experience. You are a human, and this word, spirituality, is you as a form of energy. Thank you, Sadhguru, for spelling it out in one of his quotes. You can call it a stone, you can call it a demon, the divine, you can call it whatever you want. It's actually the same energy. He capitalizes energy. It doesn't need to be capitalized because it's all of us. And he says it's a million times the same energy, just broken and different. So here's where people talk about mirroring all the time. When you're a compassionate mirror, which is what a integrated mind and restorative embodied self, a functional adult who does love language. So we don't shame, we don't blame, we don't fault, we don't revenge. And when people are doing these things, we will share about our emotions with the other adults that can hear us, and then we can have an exchange of what is actually frustrating us without actually saying we want to kick out the people of our, no, we love our loved ones. So we're sharing like anybody does, and it's beyond prejudice or opinion. It's, let me let out some words together. Very different. A lot of people think some people are special, and here's where when they think their spirituality process and they fall in love with their own light, they actually think that they are light and others are not. And when they see people who need help, they actually begin to say, I am saving, or I'm this, or there's a lot of different ways people stay in Maya land. We don't do saving here. We do speaking and respecting. And then we share information, like the good educators, which don't actually put, here's my belief system and how I'm going to research how to make that belief system. It's more of, here's my hypotheses, and if it's qualitative, then you present with your qualitative. If it's quantitative, you present with quantitative. But to actually state that you are a spiritual process equates a person who has a belief system, because there are those who don't believe in anything. And I'm a person who likes to involve all people. So the ones who tell me I don't believe in anything, they are right to believe in whatever they want. So energy is energy. It's a form. Now you can call it in many different ways, which is what stories help people to understand this concept of energy. So on a day like this, while when I was in the absence of all of what I know today, I read The Day Out of Time is its own energy portal. I was like, ooh, I wonder what it will bring. It acts as a rainbow bridge between us and the spiritual dimensions. Now that sounds fun. I wonder how I'm going to interact with this. It gives us an opportunity to connect with and clear the past. Now that one seems good, but I don't think you can actually clear it. But I guess you can work with the emotional stuff of it and the thought of it. So yeah, that makes sense. As well as to create a better future. Well, we create a better future every day when we come together and treat each other with respect. And we do talk about differences. So we don't make basically statements that you have to believe in only one or another. An educator actually empowers you with information, doesn't make statements of you have to only look at these things. So when I see colleagues, so neuroscience community, saying opposite information, but I see some of them taking the ancients and justifying it with the ancients, I am somebody who will say, I would think you're denying the quantitative data that my lovely empirical people who build, and that's all of our people. I understand, because of course belief systems, they are what they are, and minds think that you're being threatened, the physical and belief in our brains. So you either want to expand consciousness and tap into your infinite higher human potential or not. Some people, they want to stay within their belief systems, and so we have 4D educators for those people, 5D and beyond educators for the ones of us who are roaring lions for love, unconditional love, because we all are that infinite higher human consciousness potential. So hopefully today you go around and zero out the past and bring in love and bring out more from each other in the best ways possible. Functional adults, hope to see you soon. Have a wonderful day.